In our review and reading of chapter 6 of LEKKI HEADMASTER. As a JAMBite, we have been helping you by reading these chapters. We have done chapter 1, chapter 2. We are now in chapter number 6. If you have not watched the other videos, you can also watch them. You can ask me, I will drop the link for you. So this video is for chapter number 6. We have done other chapters for you. Remember, in our YouTube channel, we are serious about ensuring you score at least 300 in your JAMB exam. So just focus and follow me. Also, at the end of this video, if you watch till the end of this video, I will give you free past questions on the 4 subjects you'll be writing. I will also give you free syllables for the 4 subjects you are writing, including use of English, so that you will pass as you study the past questions, as you study with the syllables. It will guide your study, right? So let's go. This is chapter number 6. If you have not watched chapter 1 to 5, I will drop the link in this video. You can also ask me for the link. At the end of this video, I will give you the past questions and the syllables you need, and also this book, the PDF, for you to start reading. Okay. Chapter 6, the title is Ade as well as Jide. Comes versus come. A very funny and interesting chapter that happened in Stardom School. Open days were very important at Stardom schools. For the management, it was an opportunity to update parents on academic activities. A staff meeting was held prior to each edition. It needed no reminder to teachers and the academic staff. Non-academic members of staff knew it was a day when they had to look their best, especially because they would have personal encounters with parents. Generally, Stardom encouraged, and in some cases, as compelled its teachers to look presentable. So this paragraph 1 is looking at what you know in your secondary school as open day, where parents can come into the school and evaluate how their children are being taught. So on such days, the school always insists that the parents and the students must look very, very presentable, right? That's what is happening in chapter 1. Remember to watch this video from beginning to the end, because at the end you can get free past questions, free for the 4 subjects you will be writing in JAMB. The event, that is the open day, was a promising moment for many teachers too, including the principal. It proved that the reward of teachers did not have to wait till they got to heaven. Some parents come with gifts in cash and kind for specific staff, especially class teachers. The Mayi family was outstanding. Smart Mayi's mom, Mrs. Nike, would gift the school several packets of beverages. So parents would always give things to the school, right? Okay. Mr. Beppo recorded an episode. Remember, the principal of the school is Mr. Adewale Beppo, the principal of Stardom School. Remember also that he is planning to relocate to the UK. So he's remembering something that happened. If you have not studied chapter 1, just watch the videos we have done, right? We have done videos on chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, and now we are in chapter 6. We also do from chapter 7 to the other chapters. So in our YouTube channel, you can get these videos for yourself, free of charge. You can get past questions free of charge. I will tell you, if you watch this video to the end, how I will give it to you free. So here, Mrs. Beppo recorded an episode. Mrs. Ibidon Gloss has sent for him, asking him to appear in her office. Who is Mrs. Ibidon Gloss? If you have watched the other videos, you will know that she is the managing director, the MD of Stardom Schools. Stardom Schools is located where? Lekki, Lagos. With her, so Mr. Beppo recorded an episode. Mrs. Ibidonglos has sent for him, asking him to appear in her office urgently. With her was a parent, Mr. Guta, seated in a chair in front of the MD's desk. Beppo greeted the doer as he walked in, but the MD indicated she did not need any presently. Where is Fafore, the one that calls himself an English teacher? Shocked, the principal looked at Mr. Guta in the eye, searching frantically for a clue. He saw none, not in Mrs. Glaw's face either. The parent did not betray any sympathy for the teacher about to be flung out of the job. So the principal, the MD, was telling the principal to sack the teacher, the English teacher. Let us read on to know what must have happened. Remember, the title of this chapter is Jide as well as, right? Comes versus come. Let's keep reading. If there was an instruction Beppo hated, remember he was the principal of the school, it was issuing a sack letter. He had done so a number of times. The management rarely sacked anyone directly. They executed what he considered a dirty job through his office. He always felt pained when anyone had to lose a job, especially for issues he felt were not grave. There were times when no one could really help matters, such as in the case of the teacher who, the previous term, was caught altering a student's result for a fee. Some had been sacked for perennial incompetence and child abuse, suspected or proven. Mr. Beppo remembered that the management, through his office, had also booted out some whom he believed were either not seriously guilty or not guilty at all, just helpless victims of circumstance and even conspiracy. Whatever the offense or its magnitude, Beppo always felt a void in his heart every time a colleague lost his job or her job. Perhaps that was because he had experienced joblessness before. He understood what it meant for a family man like Fafore. So Mr. Fafore, the English teacher, was about being relieved of his job. He was about being sacked. What Mr. Beppo considered the most embarrassing moment of his life happened while he was out of job. So he's recalling something that happened when he was sacked. An ugly situation had forced him out of a school where he worked. He had no savings and no new employment was in sight. At the height of the financial drought, that means he lost his job as a teacher and he was not having any money. So at the height of it all, he ate the 2,500 naira electricity tariff he collected on behalf of tenants in the crowded Face Me and Face You house where he lived in Iyana Ipaja, also in Lagos. To cover up the deed, he lied that he had remitted the cash. This is something that had happened years back. But as the Hausa man says, I don't know how to read Hausa, so if you are Hausa here, please just teach me and read it out in the comment section. Every day is for the thief, one day is for the owner. One day, NEPA man arrived and disconnected the power in the public yard. Then truth down on everyone. The furious tenants rained insults, curses and mockery on Oga Teacher, as he was called. The most aggressive complaint that God-forsaken day complainant was Iyamatu, the no-nonsense wife of Mr. Adio, a co-tenant. The short devil grabbed a bowl full of elobo, cassava powder, and poured it on the teacher. Remember, this happened before Mr. Beppo became a school principal. This what happened while he was still a teacher years back as a young man. Okay, let's move on. Good morning, class. So Mr. Beppo now went to the class where Mr. Fofere was having his class, interrupted the class and called him out. He actually called him into his office. Fofere did not like the interruption, so he addressed the student, called him to his office and began to talk to them. Fofere did not like the interruption. but he had to obey his boss. Who is his boss? Mrs. Ibidon Gloss. He thought about handing over his note to the class prefect so that the student could copy it while he attended to the principal, but this was no longer permitted at Stardom, so they don't give note to students to copy in Stardom school. You know, it's a big man school. The management stopped it years back after a parent sued the school. So a parent actually took the school to court for giving note to students to copy. The parent, an accountant with an oil company, learned that his daughter, who was blessed with very good and illegible handwriting, was asked to scribble a note on the marker board for others to copy. He had advanced counts bordering on exploitation, cheating, oppression, and visual exploitation. His lawyers further argued that the teacher was indirectly imposing a career on the girl. According to them, she might become influenced to become a teacher, whereas her parents wanted her to study medicine. On the allegation of visual exploitation, the parents said the teacher subjected his daughter to corrosive eyes that might have sexually leered at her as she stood in front of the class. See wahala. Okay, let us read on. Remember to watch this video to the end so that you can get free past questions and get free syllables. I hope you are enjoying the story so far. The matter was eventually settled out of court after a lot of pleas by the school, and while the student was compensated with one tuition-free term, the teacher was suspended without pay for 3 months. The English teacher remembered the case. The principal too did. Fofere decided to let sleeping dog lie and even snore as they liked by leaving the students to themselves. Mr. Fofere, what issue do you have with the management? Beppo asked earnestly when both men go to the principal's office. I hope you are following the story now. Okay? The management, I have no problem with anyone, Fofere answered. When did you get to school today? 7:30 a.m. Did you flog any pupil? No, I don't, cane student. Did you have any argument with any parent or the management? Or when actually did you get to school today? Principal, why these questions? Why would I argue with anyone? You know I hardly come late. Candidly, the principal knew Fafore hardly arrived late to school. When they say hardly arrived, that means he doesn't always arrive late to school. Although he lived quite far away, he planned his itinerary in such a way that he rather arrived very early. Like many other members of staff, he could not afford the rent charged on Lekki area. A 2-bedroom flat in Lekki area, you know it's a big man area, could cost more than 2 million naira, with most landlords demanding 2-year rent upfront. Besides other expensive charges, successive government had tried to compel landlords to charge less and give less stringent terms. Official declarations were made to that effect, but they were rarely enforced or were simply enforceable. So, Mr. Fofore lived far from school because he wasn't living in Lekki, because the house rent in Lekki was very, very exorbitant. Despite being a graduate for 22 years, Mr. Fofore's salary remained 175,000 naira. Na big money. I hope you are following the story. If you are following, let me know. How could he afford a million naira rent per annum? How could he buy the government flat, even when all he needed as initial payment was a 25% deposit? Besides, residents knew there would be other unadvertised charges for the government houses. Fofore's first solution to the housing challenge was to rent a 1-room apartment in Ijaye, near the boundary between Lagos and Ogun State, as the Iyana Ipaja axis. He paid 170 per month. When he got married, he now relocated to Sango, where he was paying 300,000 naira. 3 years later, he purchased half a plot of land in Ifo, a little deeper into Ogun State, where he built a 2-bedroom apartment. He had barely completed building the facility when he moved in with his family. As a matter of fact, 2 years after, he had yet to plaster the house and had neither installed a bath nor a toilet. What mattered to him most was the joy that he was landlord. So later he bought a house, though he bought a land, right? He bought a land and built, even though he has not even plastered it or put toilet, but he was already a landlord. He wasn't paying rent to anybody, so he was happy. Let's move on with the story. I am sorry I have to bombard you with these questions. That is the principal talking to him. Remember, they are not discussing in the principal's office. Beppo say relaxing a bit, but there is a problem, a major problem. The MD called me to her office. She is very angry, livid. By the way, I wonder if you had any argument with Mr. Gota, the father of Deborah in SS2 and Nicholas in JSS2. Fafore said he had no discussion with him, let alone an argument. He came to the class, he checked his son's books and said nothing before he left. Well, it seemed he left abruptly, perhaps angrily too, given the way he stormed out. He did not have any word with his son or me. Definitely there is a problem. The MD says we have to go. By that, go. Go where? Faforo crashed into the sofa at the office. Sacked? How? Why? Questions raced through his mind. His thought flashed to his home where his wife was heavily pregnant. Imagine a man whose wife is pregnant losing his job. How difficult can things be for teachers? Apart from the long distance to Lagos, he could not afford Stardon's fees, okay? So how would he cope? Because he still had to pay his children's school fees, his wife was pregnant, and all other expenses. When he returned to the staff room, he found some of his colleagues were already discussing his matter. He wondered how they knew, but of course, at Stardom, information traveled faster than light. Fafo, what happened? Mrs. Ose, the Igbo language teacher, asked. Before he could answer, 3 more questions had jumped out of the mouth of other staff. Honestly, I don't know, Fafo said, as he began to sort personal items on his desk, indicating to his colleagues that the ordeal was real. The staff, visibly unhappy, wondered what went wrong. It was a lesson to them all. There was no job security in the establishment. So one of them said, what do you expect when you are working in a one-man business? Audu asked, unusually serious. I've always said that the job we have is the type of the wind. Is the type the wind can blow away anytime, any day, depending on the mood of the employer. I think we shouldn't allow this matter to go on like this. What would you do? What power do you have to change anything? Do you want to fight your employer? The angry teacher, Mr. Obi, queried. Just then, a message came from the principal. All teachers were to congregate at the MD's office for an emergency meeting. I hope you are following. Remember, we are still reviewing com versus coms. That is the title. Let us dig deeper into this chapter to find out where that terminology was used. It was at the meeting that the still enraged MD, who is the MD, Mrs. Ibidon Gloss, announced why Fafore had to quit and why others could soon follow suit. But no sooner did she begin to speak than she stopped and winced as pain fired her buttocks. Remember, in the other chapter we talked about why she was always having pain in her buttocks. If you have not watched chapter 4 and 5, go and watch it so that you can know why she was always having pain in her buttocks. There's this chapter called a snake in the roof. I think chapter 4 or 5, snake in the roof. Watch it so that you will know why she's always having buttocks pain. If you want me to send you the link to the other chapters, let me know. So armed with the double-barrel frustration, that is the pain, the anger she was having and the pain in her buttocks, the MD declared she was fed up with the embarrassment teachers were causing the school whenever they demonstrated incompetence in the presence of parents. I am sure some of you must have learned that the so-called English teacher is leaving this school today, and I think the principal too will henceforth have questions to answer. If you cannot monitor your teachers, if you do not check their notes, and parents have to uncover the abomination we ought to have eliminated internally, then you are bound for trouble. Imagine a supposed English teacher. This is what a parent who labors day and night to pay his children's school fees found in a note Faforo gave to students. Mrs. Ibidon Glass collected 5 notes from the secretary seated in her left. On the right was the principal. She had asked the secretary to randomly gather the notes from the class Faforo handled. The MD then opened a page and pointed out what she believed was a grammatical atrocity. So what was causing this whole problem was a grammatical atrocity, a grammatical error from the English teacher. Ade as well as Jide comes early. That is the problem, that the man said taught the students. Ade as well as Jide comes early. The MD read. She observed the staff, eager to see shock written all over their face. This was what the parent, Mr. Guta, saw and became so angry about that he threatened to withdraw his children from the school. So the MD did not want the parent to withdraw his children. Instead of that, he was ready to fire his teachers. Can you imagine? What sort of an English teacher or any kind of teacher would say Ade as well as Jide comes instead of Ade as well as Jide come? So it was S that was the problem, whether to put comes or come when you have as well as. Ladies and gentlemen, a teacher like Fafore, Mr. Ade as well as Jide comes has no place in this school, she submitted. Now the principal said, is this the reason we are sacking the man, ma? The principal asked with a chuckle. Is it not serious enough? The MD said. Then the principal spoke up. There is nothing grievous about the statement. Beppo began unruffled. There is no error whatsoever. It is a piece of standard English. As a matter of fact, we have to quickly call Fafere back and update Mr. Guta too. I wish he had not left. More importantly, we have to call Fafere back. What he taught the students is correct. When you use and, the verb that follows is come. But when you use as well as, together with, alongside, etc., we go for the singular verb s that comes with s. The clause is in the subjunctive mode and does not align with normal grammatical rules. Can you imagine? So the English teacher was even correct. Not impressed by the blasphemy the principal was uttering, the MD, so we are approaching the end of the chapter, so I can now give you free past questions and free syllables for you, and also show you how you can get the LEKKI HEADMASTER if you are ready to get it. The MD directed everyone to bring out his or her smartphone and investigate the assertion online. Interestingly, all the teachers discovered that Fafore and the principal were right. Mr. Guta was wrong. The MD was wrong. So the teacher taught Jide as well as, where is that statement? Jide, Ade as well as Jide comes. It's correct. Not Jide as well as, not Ade as well as Jide come. So that verb needed to carry X. That was the right thing. Okay. He cleared his throat. Okay, look at. Since silence, the MD was had ranted publicly about an error that did not exist. She had set in motion the sacking of a guiltless employee. She had embarrassed hardworking Fufore. Now she felt deflated. Some teachers felt sorry for her. Others thought she could have been more discreet about the affair. No one knew exactly how to break the ice, but Mr. Audu was on hand to save the day. Mr. Audu was always making jokes. He's a funny man. He cleared his throat and confessed he had something even more important to add to the grammatical trial. Everyone waited to hear what he could say, especially as the English question had already been roundly resolved. I just want to say that Mr. Fofore, he began, picked his word, as well as the principal. I just want to say that Mr. Fofore, as well as the principal, he continued, is correct, and the MD, Mrs. Ibidon Gloss, is hereby pardoned, discharged, and acquitted. Everybody started laughing. Okay, I will do. If I lay my hand on you, she returned. Mr. Principal, give him the sack letter as soon as you collect it from me, from my great teacher. Fofore, everyone laughed again. If you want to get a copy, free copies of past questions, do 3 things. Join our YouTube channel, like this video, then subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, join our YouTube channel. You can click on thanks, join our YouTube channel, then like this video, share this video too. Click on share, copy the link, post on your YouTube, on your WhatsApp and other platform. Then come under this video and type I have subscribed. I have subscribed. I have subscribed. Once you type I have subscribed, I will chat you up and send you syllables, past questions on your first subject. If you want to get this book, it is not free, but you can also tell me you need the novel. I will tell you how much and how you can get it. Chapter 7 is the next video we will watch. Remember, see the video on your screen. Start watching it. Watch the next video.